Part 16. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 151. Father Yin looked very unhappy. He just asked for a student's phone number, but they gave him no choice. Are they looking down on him? Since she's not here, I'll come find her again tomorrow. But I don't know how the school plans to deal with Chenchen's matter. His tone was slightly lowered, and he said with an arrogant attitude, I don't want any bad news about Chen to spread in the school. I will arrange for him to drop out of school and study abroad. I hope it will be convenient for your school. When the time comes, I will donate a laboratory building as a thank you gift. So what if his son did it wrong? He has power and money, and there is nothing he can't settle. Mr. Yin, we can't promise you this. Nan Yan is the victim. Unless she speaks out, the school must report it. This is a matter of principle. Zhide High School has been established for a century and cannot afford such a stain. The expressions of Father Yin and Mother Yin suddenly became ugly after hearing these words. Amir Dean actually dared to refuse his request. How shameless! Father Yin looked at the dean with contempt and said coldly, You are just a dean. I can just talk to the principal about this matter. At that moment, he called the principal of Zhide High School directly in front of the dean of students and two head teachers. The principal had heard the dean of students tell him about the incident between Yin Yuchen and Nan Yan. As the head of a school, he had a lot to consider, so when the dean of students proposed to publicize Yin Yuchen's incident and use expulsion as punishment, he felt it was not okay. The Yin family is powerful in Jinqing and is not easy to mess with. They are in a high school, and it is obviously not a good thing to offend the Yin family. So after hearing the conditions proposed by Father Yin, he was very excited. But this matter has something to do with Nanyan. He had to make her relent. Otherwise, with her current national reputation, if this matter is exposed, the school will also be hacked. Mr. Yin, let me tell you this. The most important thing in this matter is to satisfy classmate Nan Yan. I can suppress the matter first. You can find an opportunity to reconcile with classmate Nan Yan and ask her to issue a letter of understanding. Father Yin snorted coldly, I also want to reconcile with her, but the school's dean and her class teacher don't want to give me her contact information. The principal frowned, Mr. Yin, give him the phone and I'll talk to him. Father Yin handed the phone to the dean of students, Your principal, I want to talk to you. The dean secretly gritted his teeth and took the phone, Principal. On the phone, the principal's voice came, Lao Yu, tell Mr. Yin the phone number of classmate Nan Yan. Principal, this is inappropriate. Nan Yan said that he doesn't want to be harassed. Mr. Yin wants to apologize to her. How can this be harassment? The principal's tone was a little more serious. Let the matters between them be resolved privately first. I know you like Nan Yan and feel sorry for her past experiences, but you also need to know how hard Zhide High School is pressed by several other schools. Offending the Yin family is not a wise choice. If other school directors find out about this matter, the result will be the same, and they may even make Nanyan drop out of school. Stop being so stubborn and find a way to get the best interests for Nanyan. That's the business. The principal said a lot of things with sincerity. The dean was no longer listening carefully, and was only angry. Evil capitalist. But what the principal said makes sense. The Yin family is a stronger family than the Yin family. If the Yin family really offends the Yin family, it will be in danger in the end. It is Nanyan who will suffer the loss. He answered the phone and returned the phone to Father Yin. Dean, how are you doing? I'll give you Nan Yan's contact information. The dean gave Nan Yan's mobile phone number to Yin's father. Yin's father and Yin's mother did not stay in the office longer and left directly. After they left, the dean took a slow breath before picking up his cell phone and calling Nan Yan. At this time, Nyan helped Marcus complete his physical examination. The blood test will take more than 10 minutes to come out. I happened to have some free time and answered his call. What's wrong, Dean of Students? The dean's tone was a little helpless. Yan, someone from the Yin family may call you soon. You, please restrain yourself and don't offend people too much. Nan Yan raised her eyebrows. Are they looking for you? Well, they just asked me for your phone number and said they wanted to apologize to you. Since they want to reconcile with you, you should take the opportunity to make more demands and gain some benefits. Okay, I understand, Nan Yan responded casually and planned to hang up. The dean continued, Yan, that's about it? The world has become too dark. Some of those who fought with the capitalists have good results. He had always looked down upon these capitalists, feeling that they regarded the law as child's play, covered the sky with one hand, and only had interests in their eyes, without any humanity at all. Now, when he was encountered, he found that it was really difficult for ordinary people to resist. Even if Nan Yan had Njia behind him, it would be useless. The Yin family must also bow their head in front of the Yin family. Nan Yan said teasingly, Lao Yu, are you stimulated by something? You called me Lao Yu. You are so disrespectful. The dean pretended to be angry and scolded her, then said faintly, what kind of stimulation can I be affected by? I was just forced to see the reality clearly. See the reality clearly? Dear, you should take another look, don't be so old and blurry at such a young age. Nan Yan said lightly, and then hung up the phone. Seeing that her face was a little cold, combined with what she just said, Marcus couldn't help but said, Yan, what happened? Do you need my help? No, I can solve it myself. Nan Yan glared at him. He has adjusted his body well, which is the greatest help to me. Next time you do something stupid, I will definitely not treat you, and let you fend for yourself. Marcus felt that she was not joking, and nodded quickly, I definitely won't. The same words. With her around, why would he fight? Just hug the thighs and win by lying down, and teach her everything else. Sure enough, not long after hanging up the dean's phone, Nan Yan's phone rang again. Nan Yan lazily turned the phone and let the ringing sound. Yan, you won't answer the phone. Answer it, Nan Yan sneered, but wait a while. He called, and she answered, which seemed too cheap. The first call was automatically hung up. A few minutes later, he called again. No one answered. It was not until the third call was almost automatically hung up that it was connected. Father Yin was almost mad to death. She definitely did it on purpose. Father Yin asked angrily, Nan Yan, why didn't you answer the phone just now? Beep. The phone was hung up. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 152. The phone was hung up. Father Yin was so angry that he almost ran away. Marcus watched Nan Yan only answer the call for less than 5 seconds before hanging up the phone. He couldn't help but ask, Yan, why did you hang up again? It's okay, it's irrelevant. Nan Yan turned around her cell phone carelessly, waiting for Father Yin to call again. How dare you be so temperamental when asking for reconciliation? Who is going to spoil them? Father Yin was angry for a long time, but still suppressed his temper and called Nan Yan over. Nan Yan ignored him for a while before answering again. Classmate Nan Yan, I am Yin Yuchen's father. Let's meet. Father Yin suppressed his temper and tried to slow down his tone. Nan Yan leaned on the sofa, her cold eyebrows slightly raised. If you want to reconcile, what price do you Yin family want to pay? It seems that Nanyan already has an idea. Why don't you tell me about it? Yin's father took retreat as an advance and planned to let Nan Yan ask for it first, and then he would press it. Nan Yan sneered without emotion, since Mr. Yin is so sincere, then I can't help it. As long as the Yin family can donate 100 million to the Red Cross in my name to help women who have been bullied, this matter will be considered. Father Yin's face looked as if he had eaten a fly. He didn't expect that Nan Yan would open his mouth like a lion and ask for 100 million. Moreover, it was not given to herself, but donated to the Red Cross. Of course he can get 100 million. But there is absolutely no way he would give it to her. At such a young age, I don't know the heights of the world. Are you kidding me? Nan Yan's tone was indifferent. Whatever you think, I've made the conditions. If you accept them, I'll sign the letter of understanding. Otherwise, your son will be waiting to go to jail. Ah! Father Yin hung up the phone angrily. Yin's mother couldn't hear Nan Yan's voice, and when she saw that Yin's father had something wrong with his expression, she quickly asked, "What's wrong? What did she say? When she opens her mouth, she will blackmail 100 million yuan." Father Yin's facial features were a little distorted. Shameless little bitch, she must have gone crazy. Mother Yin was shocked. Doesn't she think she can do whatever she wants just because she took advantage of us? Father Yin snorted coldly. She has never thought about reconciliation. Until now, he still couldn't react to Nan Yan's attitude. Then what should we do? Do we really want Chen Chen to go to jail? It's not that easy. Father Yin started the car. Let's go find the Yin family. If we can't break through from Nanyan's side, then we'll start from An Yeoking's side. An's family has been in a bad situation recently. As long as he shows kindness and doesn't have to go to Nan Yan again, they will put pressure on Nan Yan and ask her to issue a letter of understanding. Hashtag. Nanyan got Marcus's blood test report and read it carefully. After reading it, he looked at Marcus with a half smile. Yanyan, don't look at me like this. He was very panicked when she looked at him like this. Okay. Scared. Congratulations, you successfully saved half of your life. If it hadn't been for meeting her, the remaining half wouldn't have been able to last a few days. Ahem, Yanyan, don't scare me. With you here, can you save half of my life? Marcus doesn't want to die anymore. With Nan Yan here, he wished he could live a few more years. Nan Yan rolled up the inspection report and hit him twice on the head. Let's see if you cooperate. Marcus nodded quickly. I will definitely cooperate. No matter what you ask me to do, I think I will cooperate. Nanyan made a mental list of the medicines to treat Marcus, but found that the medicines on hand were not enough. I took out my mobile phone, boarded the dark domain, placed an order for the medicines I needed, and replenished some supplies along the way. After placing the order, she put her phone back in her pocket, looked at him and asked, "Do you want to stay in the hospital or go to a hotel?" "Let's go to the hotel. I don't like the smell of the hospital. The smell of disinfectant is too strong." "Well, I'll prescribe you some emergency medicine first, and then treat you when other medicines arrive." Nan Yan went to Dean Tao and gave him a prescription, asking him to boil the medicine for 3 days and give it to Marcus to take away. In about 3 days, the medicine from the dark territory was delivered. After Dean Tao brought her the prepared medicine, the two returned to the hotel they had booked for Marcus. "I still have something to do, so I won't be here with you. If anything happens, please contact me." Oh. In fact, Marcus secretly didn't want Nan Yan to leave. They finally met, and he had a lot to say. But Nan Yan seems to have a lot of secrets, and she has no intention of confessing to him yet. He could only endure his curiosity and agree obediently. Let's talk about the rest when she wants to say it. After settling Marcus, Nan Yan went to the Lin family. Hashtag. Settle down. Yin's father and Yin's mother came to the door. The people in Anjia didn't know what happened yet, but they knew they were coming and received them warmly. After all, the Yin family is stronger than the Yin family in every aspect. Now that the man in power and his wife came to them in person, they couldn't help but feel flattered. Mr. Yin, Mrs. Yin, please sit down quickly. And Yeoking happened to not go to the company today and was discussing things with his 3 sons at home. Facing Father Yin, he did not dare to slack off at all. Lulahua also quickly asked the servant to make tea. Father Yin put on airs and said with a naturally superior tone, I came to see Brotherin today because of the 2 children. 2 children, and Yeoking was a little confused, is it Yao Yao and the noble son? And Yeoking had heard Nweo say that the eldest son of the Yin family was her loyal fan. Could it be that they wanted to arrange a marriage? And Yeoking couldn't help but feel a little excited. It seems that his decision was right. Even if Nweo was exposed to some scandals, the real rich families would not care about these at all. What they value more is ability and means. And Yao Yao has both. No Yin's father's expression was a little gloomy, it's Nanyan. Nanyan, and Yeoking was really shocked this time, could it be that the noble son doesn't like Yao Yao? It's not this, Yin's father interrupted him angrily, it's a little contradiction. At that moment, Yin's mother told the contradiction between Yin Yuchen and Nanyan in a bad tone. Of course, when Yin's mother said it, she must have spoken on Yin Yuchen's side. She did not say that Yin Yuchen deliberately found someone to rape Nanyan, but that he just wanted to joke with Nanyan and scare her. As a result, Nanyan called the police, arrested Yin Yuchen and brought him to the police station, and also sued him and put him in jail. Father Yin waited for Mother Yin to finish speaking before continuing, Brotherin, this was originally a small friction between children, and Chen Chen did not really want to do anything, but was misunderstood by Nanyan. Now it has become like this. If it is not handled properly, Chen Chen's reputation will definitely be damaged. I hope that the 2 families can sit down and have a good talk, and don't make things out of control. And Yeoking nodded and said, that's right, this matter is not worth making a big fuss. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 153. Nanyan checked Linzian's pulse and was quite satisfied with her improvement. How do you feel recently? Very good. Linzian looked at Nanyan excitedly, Yan Yan, you are amazing. I have never felt so relaxed as I do now. The stuffiness in my heart has been relieved a lot, and even my sleep and diet have improved a lot. Nanyan reached out and rubbed her head, then continue to take medicine and rest well. In 2 months, you will be able to do some physical exercises like ordinary people. Linzian's body is too weak. Even if the disease is cured, the physical condition cannot be improved by taking medicine. Exercise is necessary. Really? Linzian opened her eyes cutely. Obviously, this news was too good for her and she couldn't believe it for a while. Don't trust me? No, no, Linzian shook her head quickly, Yan Yan, I'm just too surprised. No one has ever put hope so close to her. She never thought that one day she could get rid of this broken body and become a normal person again. And all of this was given to her by Nanyan. Take good care of yourself, spend less time on the internet in the future, concentrate on your creation, and when you have the ability, I will recommend you to join the painting association. Nanyan's tone was very calm, as if it was no big deal. But Linzian was dumbfounded when she heard the word painting association from her mouth. Yan, are you a member of the painting association? The painting association is a hall-level painting organization. Those who can enter it are all painting geniuses, and the teachers inside are all masters. As a painting enthusiast, she naturally wants to join. But she also knows that she is too far away from that threshold and may not be able to reach it in this life. However, right now, right in front of her, Nanyan told her so calmly that she could recommend her to join the painting association. You know, Only senior members have this qualification. That's not the case, but I know an old man inside, I just need to tell the old man. The president of a certain painting association suddenly sneezed, scaring himself. He rubbed his nose, and his eyes fell on the painting in front of him again, secretly annoyed. "Where have you been, you little bastard? You haven't come to see me for so long, be careful, I'll spank you next time I see you." Lin Zian nodded vigorously, "I will. In order to enter the painting association, she will definitely work hard." Feeling the phone in her pocket vibrate again, a layer of coldness appeared in Nan Yan's eyes. She patted Lin Zian's shoulder casually, "Take good care of it, I'll go back first." Lin Zian stood up quickly, "I'll take you." When going downstairs, she happened to meet the particularly annoying old lady of the Lin family. Originally, the old lady Lin wanted to show off her power, but when she saw Nan Yan coming down from upstairs, her face changed instantly, and she turned around and walked out. Nan Yan had scared her last time, and she was afraid of Nan Yan from the bottom of her heart, so how could she dare to jump in front of her? Nan Yan looked at her back as she fled in a panic, and asked calmly, "Did your grandma come to trouble you these days?" "She came a few times again, but I'm not afraid of her anymore. Although I can't be disrespectful to her because of the seniority, I can ignore her." Lin Zian couldn't have a good impression of old lady Lin. She had been bullied by her too much before, and she was as scared as a mouse seeing a cat when she saw her. Now she treats her as air. When old lady Lin comes, she locks the door and locks herself in the room. If you don't meet, you naturally can't find trouble with her. She is a person who is soft and afraid of hard. The more you are afraid of her, the more she bullies you. Nan Yan pinched Lin Zian's fair little face, and smiled frivolously, "Be more powerful in the future. If you want to be my friend, you have to be more powerful." The tip of Lin Zian's ear was visibly flushed. This action is a foul. Nan Yan didn't tease her much. Seeing that she was shy, she laughed softly, waved to her, and left the Lin family. Hashtag. After leaving the Lin family, Nan Yan took out her cell phone, which had vibrated dozens of times. Seeing the caller ID, she had a hint of sarcasm in her eyes and answered the call slowly. "Mr. N, is there something?" "Nan Yan, what are you doing? Why don't you answer the phone?" And Yeoking couldn't help but get angry. In the past half an hour, he called her at least 20 times, and Lu Lihua also called her a few times. In the end, she didn't answer any of them. If it wasn't in front of Yin's father and mother, he would have gone crazy. Nan Yan sneered, kicked a small stone on the ground with her toes, and asked sarcastically, "I'm busy with something, why, Mr. N wants to see me." "Go back to the N family now," and Yeoking took a deep breath, "I have something important to tell you." "I don't think I have anything to say to you." Nan Yan didn't mean to give An Yeoking any face. "Nan Yan, I'm not discussing with you, I'm ordering you to come back." And Yeoking almost gritted his teeth, "Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because the old man loves you. The old man is in poor health, you'd better not let me go to him. If he gets mad, I don't think anyone can protect you." He didn't believe it, he couldn't control a little girl. "Mr. N, you are quite inhuman." He dared to threaten her with the old man, he really had no humanity. Nan Yan's eyes were filled with coldness, and the corners of her mouth were raised with a bloodthirsty arc. "Since you want to see me, then I will meet you. Just don't regret it when the time comes." Nan Yan said coldly, and without waiting for An Yeoking to answer, she hung up the phone directly. Then she called a ditty and returned to the An family. Hashtag. Although An Yeoking was angry at Nan Yan's attitude, at least she agreed to come back. As long as she entered the door of the An family, she would be at his mercy. He breathed a sigh of relief, and then said to Yin's father in a somewhat flattering tone, "Mr. Yin, don't worry, as long as Nan Yan comes back, I will definitely let her sign a letter of understanding, and I will never let her go to school again. Yin's father said arrogantly, this is the best, as long as she gives up the lawsuit, the 50 million investment will be transferred to your account tomorrow. Half an hour later, a taxi stopped outside the gate of the Yin family. The guard saw Nan Yan getting off the car and hurriedly notified An Yeoking. An Yeoking bent down attentively to add a cup of tea to Yin's father and mother, and said, Mr. Yin, Mrs. Yin, Nan Yan is back, I will let her apologize for offending you. Yes. The impatient expressions of Yin's father and mother finally eased a little. Nan Yan casually put her school uniform pockets in her hands and walked into the room with her long and thin legs. Her eyes swept across the living room, and the mockery in her eyes became stronger. An Yeoking threw a teacup at her and said angrily, Nan Yan, you are so bold that you even dare to offend Mr. Yin and Mrs. Yin. Now come over and apologize to them. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 154. Nan Yan raised her eyebrows and kicked over the chair next to her. Mr. An, you are so cruel. It seems that she wants to redefine how shameless this family is. Now, they still treat her as someone they can call around because she was too gentle before. The four people in the living room were shocked by the huge sound. An Yeoking was even more angry by her actions, and his face was almost livid. She actually challenged him like this in front of Yin's father and Yin's mother. This made him, who wanted to save face, feel like he had been severely slapped in the face. Nan Yan, why are you crazy? Lu Lihua exclaimed, are you trying to rebel? It's amazing. He only dared to talk back to her before, but now he dared to kick the chair in front of them. Nan Yan licked his lips casually, with a smile in his eyes, but the smile did not reach his eyes. How about I demolish this house? That's what counts as rebellion. Nan Yan, Lu Lihua's face was mixed with blue and white, and he slapped the table hard in anger. As a result, due to excessive force, there was a click and the wrist was broken. Nan Yan's eyes were filled with sarcasm. This is called, you will not survive if you do your own misfortune. Deserve it? Lu Lihua screamed and broke into a cold sweat from the pain. An Yeoking calmed down a lot after being interrupted like this. Now is not the time to talk about this. The most important thing is to let Nan Yan sign the letter of understanding, so that the Yin family can cooperate with the Yin family and get an investment of 50 million. Although 50 million is not much to him, it is a sign of goodwill from the Yin family. Nan Yan, if you still want to stay in Angia, then sign a letter of understanding and drop out of Zhide. I will arrange for you to attend other private schools. Do you hear me? It seems that what I have been saying all this time is just a joke to you. Nan Yan's casual tone, coupled with her cold eyes, made people feel oppressive inexplicably. Then let me tell you one last time, I have nothing to do with you. Don't ever say that I am your settler again. It's not enough to settle down. And you Nan Yan looked at Father Yin and Mother Yin, the Yin family, right? Threatening me? Let's see who kneels down and begs for mercy in the end. I've made it clear what I need to say. That's it? If you dare to mess with me again, don't blame me for being rude. She had given them enough forgiveness. She didn't have such a good personality, so she allowed them to trouble her again and again. Nan Yan finished what he needed to say and was ready to leave. An Yeoking looked at her undisciplined look and said angrily, stop her. At this time, the three Hisai brothers who were upstairs heard the huge noise and came down. When I saw a group of bodyguards surrounding Nan Yan, one of his parents was furious, and the other was covering his wrists and gritting his teeth and crying. For a moment, he couldn't figure out what was going on. What happened? It's rare for Ans Hisai and Ansiding to come back, so the old man is out of danger and is in no hurry to leave. So many things have happened to the Yin family, and as the people of the Yin family, they must solve them. Nan Yan, if you don't sign this letter of understanding, don't even think about Angia today. Nan Yan rolled up his sleeves slowly, then let's see if these people are capable. Her move shocked the others. Is she going to fight these bodyguards? Is she crazy? However, the next second, they received a huge visual impact. A girl who is obviously slender and frail can move so neatly and yet so cruelly. Even Hisai and the others didn't dare to say that they could stop him. But right in front of their eyes, they saw with their own eyes that the girl whose arms were so thin that they could be broken by breaking them, beat all the tall bodyguards over. One by one, they were lying on the ground, rolling around and screaming, unable to even stand up. After defeating the last person, Nan Yan's fist dripped with 2 drops of blood. Not hers. She knelt down and rubbed the blood on the back of her hand on the clothes of the bodyguard closest to her before looking up at them. The evil spirit that could not be sealed made her look a little scary, and the corners of her red eyes were filled with a bone-chilling coldness. When did she become like this? And Yeoking and Lulahua were frightened by her ferocious side. I can't help but wonder, is this still their daughter? The submissive daughter who doesn't even dare to speak loudly? Nan Yan looked at them indifferently and said slowly, a bunch of rubbish, also want to stop me. How about you come in person? And Yeoking felt a chill running down his back as she stared at him, and he felt an inexplicable fear that made him almost afraid to look at her. Seeing that the atmosphere was tense, Hisai said, Nan Yan, Dad did something wrong in this matter. He shouldn't force you like this. Can you calm down first and let's all sit down and talk? That's not necessary. I'll indulge you for the last time. I won't be able to deal with you next time. It's easy to bankrupt Angia. Nan Yan left these words coldly, turned around and left An's house. If it wasn't for Mr. An's sake, she might have actually bankrupted the An family. But for the sake of Mr. An and 4th brother, she might change her mind. It's okay to let 4th brother inherit the An family. Hashtag. After Nan Yan left, the atmosphere in An's living room was very strange. Father Yin and Mother Yin also saw that Nan Yan was not under the control of the An family. Looking at her arrogant and fierce appearance, she was completely different from her. But after this incident, Father Yin and Mother Yin also made a judgment in their hearts. It was not feasible to ask her to sign the letter of understanding honestly. It seems that they have to use some tricks. And Yeoking saw that Father Yin and Mother Yin left the An family without saying a word, and he didn't understand in his heart that the cooperation was over. This evil girl. And Yeoking gritted his teeth, I will go to the old man and drive her out of the An family. What she relied on was the old man's love. And Mulan couldn't help asking, Dad, what are you doing? Nan Yan is a member of the An family no matter what, and we owe her so much, shouldn't we treat her well? He didn't like Nan Yan before, and even hated her a little. But after knowing the truth, he always regretted that he shouldn't treat her like that. He is willing to make up for it and treat her well, just like the 4th child. It's just that he didn't know how to face her for the time being, and he couldn't bring himself to do this. He couldn't understand why his parents could still treat her like this now. Could it be that they really didn't know they were wrong? She should give us a chance, and Yeoking said in a bad tone, did you see her vicious look? Did you hear what she said? She didn't treat us as her parents at all. That's because you didn't treat her as your daughter first. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 155. And Mulan looked at them with some disappointment. Before you accuse Nan Yan, you should first reflect on how you treated her. She has suffered so much in Angia and endured so many sins. You don't want to make up for it and repair the relationship with her. Instead, you use this method. It will only make her hate Angia even more and push her further and further. The further away. And Mulan said coldly and left An's house directly. He was a little bored and suffocated here, and needed to go outside to breathe. I hope I can find a chance to apologize to Nan Yan and let her forgive him. Being accused like this by their biological son is like a slap in their face. And Yeoking and Lulahua's faces were almost swollen. And Yeoking was so angry that his chest ached, and he squeezed out a few words through his teeth, "Boss, come with me to the old house." Then he glanced at Lulahua, whose wrist was drooping unnaturally, and his tone softened a bit. "Third brother, take your mother to the hospital." Ans Hisai and Ansiding didn't say anything and went to pick up the car separately. Hashtag. After Yin's father and Yin's mother left An's house, they contacted several dark forces and asked them to help. Before hanging up the phone, Father Yin did not forget to remind him, "Be careful, that little bitch is very good at martial arts. She can fight 7 or 8 bodyguards by herself. Don't worry, we will naturally find a way to handle it for you, and we will try to send you the money when the time comes. Father Yin, after everything is done, you will not be short of money." After hanging up the phone, Father Yin sneered. To find Angia, he even invested 50 million yuan. But finding these people would only cost 5 million at most. Just saved money. The two drove home and waited for news about them. Hashtag. Master, someone wants to harm Miss Nan. Wu Yu looked serious and quickly told Qin Lu what he had just learned. He now knows that the young master attaches great importance to anything related to Miss Nanyang. Put Miss Nanyang first in everything. He never noticed that the young master turned out to be a love brain. Of course, he only dared to murmur this complaint to himself. When Qin Lu heard Wu Yu say that the Yin family was looking for trouble with Nan Yan, the aura around him became completely cold. Which Yin family? It's just a decent family in Jinjinj, better than the Yin family. Wu Yu searched for it on his mobile phone and then handed it over. "Although I can get some ranking in Jinjinj, in your eyes, young master, they are all rubbish." A look of solemnity flashed across Qin Lu's eyes, then he took out his cell phone and dialed Nan Yan's number. "Kid, are you getting into trouble?" Nan Yan didn't ask Qin Lu how he knew, and replied nonchalantly, "It's not a trouble, it's just trash looking for death." She wanted to get rid of the Yin family, but it was just a matter of using her hands. Qin Lu smiled playfully, "It seems that I don't need my brother's help. My brother is a busy man, so there is no need for him to do such a small thing." Nan Yan smiled slightly, "You can't kill a chicken with a butcher's knife. Brother, don't lower yourself." Qin Lu. This metaphor. The little guy really relied on him to pamper her and spoke freely. Nan Yan looked at the ward door in front of her and said leisurely, "Brother, I have something to do here, so work hard." Hearing the low response from the other party, Nan Yan hung up the phone without changing his expression and put the phone back into his pocket. After being teased in various ways over and over again, her ability to withstand it has also improved a lot. At least, the teasing voice alone kept her heart from racing. She knocked on the door and pushed it open. "Third brother, how do you feel?" After he finished asking, Nan Yan saw the current situation in the ward. Several beautiful young ladies in cool clothes gathered around a hospital bed, each holding a variety of food in their hands and feeding Shen Junqing delicately. Nan Yan smiled casually, "It seems that I came at the wrong time." "Sister, it's not what you think." Shen Junqing had a bad feeling from the moment she walked in. These people were really not called by him. He didn't know where the news leaked, letting these people know about his hospitalization. He was so annoyed, but no matter what he said, they refused to leave. In order to pretend to be a playboy, he has been hanging out in romantic places and pretending to be very romantic. So it's not a good idea to destroy the character and drive them out. However, now he regrets it. It was better for him to be colder and drive them all away. It's better to reveal a little bit of his true nature than to let Nan Yan see the scene and misunderstand him. Shen Junqing quickly said, "All beauties, please go, my sister is here to take care of me." He was afraid that Nan Yan would be angry, turn around and leave, and what to do if he ignored him again. Third young master Shen, let's come see you later. Shen Junking sneered, no, no, you should just do whatever you have to do. There's nothing good to see here. The charming girl with big waves smiled sweetly and said, that's not possible. If we don't come, then other women will get there first. What do you want to eat tonight? We will bring it to you. Don't eat anything. I beg you. Go back quickly. Didn't you see that my sister is going to be angry? Why am I angry? Nan Yan teased, don't talk nonsense, third brother, I wish someone would take care of you, so I don't have to worry about you being bored and come over to see you. Deliberately pretending to be pitiful, saying that he is lonely and has no one to accompany him. If she had known that there were so many warblers around him, why would she have come? No, no, Yan Yan, please listen to my explanation. Shen Junking wanted to sit up in a hurry, but forgot that the bones in his body were still broken. This movement almost hurt him to death. Nan Yan's face changed slightly, and she strode to the hospital bed and pressed him down. What are you doing? Shen Junking's painful forehead was sweating, her handsome face was pale, and she looked at her pitifully with a pair of seductive peach blossom eyes, while her hands were still holding her clothes tightly. Yan Yan, don't be angry with third brother, okay? Nan Yan looked at him and said calmly, I'm not angry. Shen Junking looked at her and said weakly for a while, then will you come to see me again in the future? Nan Yan. Well, look. Seeing the situation between Shen Junking and Nan Yan, those women were very discerning and left the ward. Shen Junking is famous for being fun-loving and good at playing. They all once had a 3-day relationship with him. During the period of love, I would accompany him to various romantic occasions, and then have drinks. At most, I would only hold hands, not even hugging, let alone anything more intimate. Even if they wanted to go further, Shen Junking would not give them a chance. But it's always a good time to get together and part ways. Shen Junking was generous and gave good compensation for the breakup. So these women didn't get too angry or sad. On the contrary, they still remained friends with him. But Shen Junking's frequent girlfriend changes without touching her made them guess. Mr. Shen, is that not possible? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 156. In fact, when they talked in private, they all suspected that Shen Junking had problems in some aspects and was deliberately dating one girlfriend after another in order to take care of her man's face. So as to hide the truth that he can't do it. But because of his generosity and good looks, they all understood and covered up the truth for him. It was just that the sisters talked in private and teased him. If Shen Junking knew that his lifelong reputation had disappeared among these women, I don't know how he would feel. After they finally left, Shen Junking let out a long sigh of relief. Then he looked at Nan Yan eagerly, Yan Yan, have you got that medicine out? After staying in the hospital for a day, Shen Junking almost went crazy. He always liked the excitement and couldn't stand it anymore, but now he had to lie in bed because of a broken bone. This suffering could not be described in words. Well, here you go. Nan Yan took out a jar from his bag. Apply it once in the morning and evening, and the bones will heal in about 10 days. When Shen Junking heard her words, she was dumbfounded. Holding the white medicine jar in both hands, she exclaimed, Yan Yan, you are really amazing. It took 100 days to break the muscles and bones. He thought that Nan Yan could speed up his recovery, but it would take a month no matter what. As a result, she said it would be cured in 10 days. This is simply magical. Nan Yan sat beside the hospital bed, the medicinal materials are not old enough and the effect is a bit weak. If you can find medicinal materials of sufficient age, it will only take 3 days. Shenjunking. 10 days is enough to defy the odds, but according to her opinion, the effect is still not good enough. Shenjunking's eyes were sparkling, and her beautiful peach blossom eyes were staring straight at Nan Yan. Yan, why are your medical skills so good? You didn't even see me showing off my true skills, so you're already amazing. Nan Yan smiled carelessly. If she was really powerful, they wouldn't know each other now. She would not die in a coward in the laboratory, leaving Shishkin to take the potion she had researched, receive praise from the world, and enjoy supreme treatment. Shenjunking looked at it, but inexplicably saw some loneliness in her smile. Of course she is. He put his hand on the top of her head and his voice was a little more pitiful. Yanyan is the most powerful girl I have ever seen. Nanyan's emotions came and went quickly. Feeling the touch on the top of her head, she glanced at him speechlessly, and then pulled his hand off. What do you want to eat? I'll bring it to you tonight. Shenjunking, who was rejected after being touched on the head, twirled her fingers in frustration and asked tentatively, Third brother, can you be more generous and eat the food you cooked with your own hands? He always felt that Nan Yan was angry. Just make sure. You are really difficult to take care of. Nan Yan replied to him expressionlessly, I will do it myself. It may be a little later. You can just wait. For those who sincerely treat her well, Nan Yan will naturally treat them well as well. It's just a meal, a waste of time, and not too much trouble. Since he wants to eat, she will do it. I'll wait no matter how late. Nothing else, I'll go back first. Looking at the time, it was almost 3 hours, enough time to make a pot of bone soup. Shenjunking stopped as soon as she saw that it was okay and nodded quickly, Sister, please go slower on the road. Hashtag. After returning to the old house, Nan Yan went to the kitchen. They were always cooking a meal, so Nan Yan simply made some extra meals and also cooked for Mr. N. Considering that Qin Lu occasionally came to eat rice recently, Nan Yan added another bowl of rice to the rice cooker. The chefs on the side were very anxious. Did Miss Nanyan think that the food he cooked was not delicious, so she started cooking it herself? Will the old man fire him? He didn't dare to disturb Mr. N, so he secretly called Qin Ye. Qin Ye came over quickly after receiving the call. Miss, how can I let you cook by yourself? Just tell the chef what you want to eat. If the dish doesn't suit your taste, feel free to substitute it. Chef Joe is a special chef hired from a 5-star restaurant. He knows many cuisines. Nan Yan explained, Uncle Tien, the food cooked by Chef Joe is delicious, but a friend of mine wants to eat the food I cooked. Considering that he is sick, I agreed to him. Tien Yi nodded, so that's it? Chef Joe was relieved when he heard this explanation. Miss Nanyan, let me help you. Let the master cook. He stood aside and watched, feeling really sorry. Nan Yan was not polite to him and asked him to help wash and chop vegetables. Tien Yi couldn't help but feel sad when he saw Nan Yan's skillful movements. Rubbing his eyes, he also stayed to help. Someone helped handle the ingredients, and Nan Yan only had to cook, which made her feel much more relaxed. When the bone soup was almost done, she started cooking. Soon, she prepared 8 dishes and 1 soup. She found a lunch box, packed all the meals prepared for Shenjunking, and then said, Uncle Tien, I want to go to the hospital to see a friend. You can eat with Grandpa without waiting for me. Tien Yi hurriedly responded, Oh, okay, miss. Hashtag. In the living room, Qin Lu was playing chess with Mr. N. Tien Yi strode over and said, Old man, the lady cooked today and made a table of food. Do you want to eat it now? Yanyan cooks. Mr. N's expression changed slightly, there is a chef at home, why should she cook by herself? The young lady said that one of her friends was sick and wanted to eat the meal she cooked herself, so she cooked, Qin Ye explained, and added, "It seems that friend is very important to the young lady." Qin Lu guessed who that friend was. Grandpa An's face looked better, and then he quickly put down the chess piece in his hand and stood up. "Go eat quickly, don't let the meal made by Yan get cold." "Alu, are you coming too?" "No." Qin Lu smiled gently. "Yan's friend, I happen to know him, I will go to the hospital with Yan." Nan Yan changed her clothes and just went downstairs. She heard his voice. Sure enough, Mr. Qin came again. Nan Yan walked down the stairs. "Grandpa, you guys go eat, let my brother take me to the hospital." "Go ahead," Grandpa An said with a smile, "with Alu accompanying you, I can feel more at ease." Qin Lu stood up and walked to her side, saying to Grandpa An, "With me here, you can rest assured." Nan Yan looked at Grandpa An, who was extremely enthusiastic about Qin Lu, and couldn't help thinking, Qin De Lao is quite capable. Obviously he is not a person who is easy to approach, but in front of Grandpa An he pretends to be restrained, gentle and approachable. It's really hard for him to come for a meal. Hashtag. In the car. Nan Yan buckled her seatbelt and looked at the man beside her. Slightly raised her eyebrows, she asked leisurely, "Brother, you didn't leave all your work to Wu Yu, did you? Otherwise, how could he be so idle and hang around in front of her?" Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 157. The last few times, Boss Qin has come to the old house alone, but Wu Yu, his driver and special assistant, is nowhere to be seen. That's why Nanyan had this idea. Qin Lu said matter-of-factly, "My brother paid to hire him just to help me solve my problems." This tone is an admission. Nan Yan looked at him thoughtfully, blinked, and suddenly asked, "Brother comes to the old house every day, is it because of me?" Qin Lu. What kind of heartless little guy is this? What else could he do to settle down? Qin Lu licked the itchy tips of his teeth, glanced sideways at her, and said in a dangerous tone, "What do you think?" Nan Yan held her head, "I'm here with Grandpa, why are you worried?" Qin Lu laughed angrily, looking at her as if she really didn't understand why he came to An's old house every day, so he simply braked and parked the car on the side of the road. He turned around, faced her face to face, held her chin and smiled lowly, "Because, brother wants to see you, little kid." Nan Yan panicked for no reason. She slowly turned her face and sat upright. Her voice was a little weak, "Brother, there is a function on your phone called video chat." "Ah. Play dumb with him." Qin Lu released her chin and restarted the vehicle. She is still young. He didn't want to scare her just yet. When she graduates from high school, it won't be too late to make a decision. Let her escape now, but she won't be able to escape even if she wants to in the future. Hashtag. Next, Nanyan became quiet. His heartbeat slowly calmed down, but what he just said kept popping up uncontrollably in his mind. Dying. He doesn't really have thoughts about her anymore, does he? This thought made her feel a little stressed. Until we arrived at the first hospital, no one in the carriage said a word except for the sound of the two breathing. Shen Junqing looked at the door eagerly, waiting for Nan Yan to deliver the meal. Nan Yan sent him a message when she went out, and after that, he felt like his days were like a year. I wonder why time goes so slowly. Finally hearing a knock on the door, he quickly lay down. As a result, the door opened and his smoke came to his mouth, only to find that it was Qin Lu who came in. The smile on his face faded, and Shen Junqing asked expressionlessly, "Why are you here?" Qin Lu glanced at him and ignored him. Instead, he moved away from the door and followed Nan Yan into the ward. "Third brother, my brother heard that you were hospitalized and came here to see you." Nan Yan walked to the table next to the hospital bed, placed the lunchbox on it, and opened it layer by layer. Shen Junking's face was full of disapproval of Qin Lu, and he snorted, he came here just to gloat about others' misfortune. Qin Lu stood beside his bed with long legs and looked down at him. You're right. It's really nice to see you lying on the hospital bed, unable to move. Shen Junking. He knew it. He didn't come to see him sincerely. You've seen it, you've laughed it off, now you can go. Qin Lu raised his eyebrows, and then said to Nan Yan, Yan Yan, the meal has been delivered, let's go. Shen Junking. Dog man. Nan Yan saw the two of them arguing with each other and pinched his eyebrows. Brother, the third brother is injured, can you be considerate to him? Qin Lu was very considerate to Nan Yan and did not provoke Shen Junking anymore. He went to sit on the sofa by himself. Nan Yan put the dining table on the bed and brought all the food to him. It smells so good, Shen Junking said exaggeratedly, with a hint of showing off. Yan Yan is really good to the third brother. He can eat the food cooked by Nan Yan himself, but that bitch man can't. Qin Lu sneered in response to his childish behavior, and then said casually, Yan Yan, after he finishes eating, let's go back quickly. Grandpa is probably still waiting for me to play chess with him. It was just a meal for him, and it was so beautiful. He has entered the N family's old house and established a relationship with Mr. N. Did he show off? Shen Junking. What a shameless dog man. Shen Junking suddenly felt that the food in front of him was a little tasteless. He couldn't waste Yan Yan's thoughts and mustered up all the energy to finish all the meals. While eating, he gritted his teeth and said to Nan Yan. Yan Yan, listen to third brother, you can't just look at looks when looking for a man, character is the most important thing. Some people may look like humans on the surface, but they are actually worse than dogs in nature. Nan Yan looked at him coolly, third brother, can't you stop your mouth while eating? Oh ouch. He was so angry. His sister, this little white flower, had long been deceived by that bitch Qin Lu. Look at how much your heart is focused on him, and you can't even listen to advice. Angrily, third young master Shen turned his grief and anger into appetite, and ate so much that he forced himself to finish all the food Nan Yan brought. I felt exhausted after eating. Nan Yan packed up the lunch box, rinsed it with water, and then washed it when she got home. Yan Yan, will you come tomorrow? Shen Junking rubbed her belly carefully and asked pitifully. If you don't come tomorrow, let's see if you have time the day after tomorrow. Okay. Shen Junking gritted her teeth. Yan Yan, if you have time, you must come and see third brother. Hashtag. Coming out of the ward, Nan Yan looked at Qin Lu's indifferent expression and reached out to grab his sleeve. Elder brother. Qin Lu looked down at her. What's wrong? Are you angry? No, Qin Lu denied lightly. Why do you say that? She thought for a while. Third brother speaks very childishly, don't be like him. Although, the man in front of her is also a childish ghost occasionally. Does she think Shen Junking is her man? Qin Lu rubbed her head with a little annoyance, little conscienceless. Nan Yan felt that his accusation was very inexplicable. She didn't think that she was conscienceless. I'm not that stingy. Qin Lu slid his big hand down and took her hand. Let's go eat first. Oh. The two got off the elevator and went directly into the underground garage. The underground garage was very quiet. No one was there at this time, only the sound of their two walking. Walking to the car, Qin Lu's footsteps suddenly turned and followed Nan Yan to the co-pilot side. He opened the car door, let Nan Yan go in first, and then threw the car keys to her. Yan Yan, lock the door. Nan Yan was stunned for a moment before she understood what he meant. There were some more noises in the underground garage. It was the sound of one end of a steel pipe falling to the ground and being dragged away. The voice-activated lights were triggered, and the lights in the distance lit up. More than 20 men with various weapons in their hands were approaching them. Nan Yan's eyes were slightly cold. This should be the person the Yin family sent to deal with her. She couldn't let Qin Lu face them alone. If he was unarmed, she wouldn't be too worried about Qin Lu's strength. But the other party had batons, steel pipes, machetes, and other weapons in his hands. She pushed open the car door and wanted to get out. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 158. Seeing her actions, Qin Lu directly closed the car door she was about to open, and mouthed by the car window, "Wait inside," obediently. How could Nan Yan wait any longer? During their brief exchange, those people had already approached. Qin Lu took off his suit jacket and rolled it in his hands. Under the thin layer of shirt, the muscles on his arms bulged in very obvious arcs. Nan Yan could even see the muscle lines on his back through his shirt. His strength shouldn't be bad. But, the other party has more than 20 people, can he do it himself? Nan Yan couldn't let him face it by himself. So I ignored his instructions, opened the door and got out of the car, and it was done in one go. At this time, Qin Lu had already made contact with the other party. He used his coat as protection, removed the opponent's weapons, threw off his coat, and with a steel pipe more than 1 meter long, he confronted them head-on. Nan Yan met him face to face and got a better understanding of his abilities. Really strong. Much stronger than her. Nan Yan took a few wrong steps to go up, picked up the weapons thrown by the person he knocked down, and helped him share the weapons. The screams and the sound of steel interlacing were very scary in the underground parking garage. The two of them joined forces, but a group of thugs from the other side were so beaten that they were unable to fight back. Run, run. The remaining people, seeing that the situation was not good, turned around and wanted to run away. Qin Lu quickly caught up and knocked down the two people around him, but the one further away had already ran a few meters away. Qin Lu simply threw the steel pipe in his hand. Boom! With a dull sound, the person who ran out fell to the ground. After cleaning up the others, Qin Lu looked slowly at the girl who was supposed to be waiting for him in the car. "Brother, you are so awesome." Nan Yan looked directly at Qin Lu's gaze, clapped her hands without changing her expression, and praised her sincerely. "Qin Lu. It's strange that the little guy is obedient. Are you injured?" Qin Lu looked at her. On the surface, there seemed to be nothing unusual about her. No. Nan Yan shook her head, and then looked at him with bright eyes. "Brother has a good aesthetic of violence. Let's discuss it when we have time." Qin Lu stared at her for a while and then said quietly, "Want to be tortured?" Nan Yan. Her current strength is indeed very poor. It's okay to beat those rabble, but against someone like Qin Lu, she won't even be able to catch 10 moves unless he lets him go. After all, this is not her original body, it is too weak. For more than a month, she has been exercising every day, but the improvement of physical fitness cannot be achieved overnight, and she still has practice. Although Nan Yan didn't mention this matter again, she made up her mind that when her strength level recovered in the future, she would definitely find an opportunity to compete with him. After asking several thugs and confirming that the person who sent them was Father Yin, Nan Yan was not surprised at all. This was what he expected. Qin Lu sat in the driver's seat, placed his hands leisurely on the steering wheel, and asked sideways, "How do you want to solve it?" Nan Yan said calmly, "The Yin family has been drifting for too long. It's time to teach them a lesson and let them see the reality clearly. Tomorrow he will pay for what he did." She has a bad temper. She had no intention of letting go of these people who came to trouble her. Qin Lu's expression was indifferent. Didn't ask her if she wanted help. Because he knew that if he asked, her answer would definitely be no need. So, just let her do what she wants. He will do it secretly. The child who wants to hurt him is seeking death. Hashtag. That night, Several major news items including tax evasion, malicious competition, and knowing and breaking the law were exposed. And it is clearly at the top of the hot searches. One company accounts for the top 6 hot searches, and its popularity remains high. The Yin family has become a mess. Yin's father angrily called Weibo's operating group one after another, telling them to take down the news. We also need to find out who is behind the harm to the Yin family. As a result, the Weibo operating company responded and had no way to remove the hot search. Why can't we withdraw? You bunch of trash must be withdrawn by me. Hello? I told you, this is a malicious frame-up. I never did it. Dad, please believe me, I will definitely solve this accident and won't let it get into trouble. Father Yin's head was pounding when he answered the phone, and he almost went crazy. There were also many people calling from Yin's mother's side, mostly wives from aristocratic circles, asking whether the things on Weibo were true or false. All her recoveries are fake. Someone deliberately wants to suppress the Yin family. After finally getting rid of the sisters, Yin's mother asked Yin's father anxiously, "Husband, how did these things come out?" "How would I know?" Father Yin yelled angrily, staring at Mother Yin with scarlet eyes. "Let me find out who did it, and he will be dead." Mother Yin was frightened by his eyes, and she shrank in grievance. "You are angry, why are you yelling at me? I didn't do it. Be smart and don't talk nonsense when you get the call. I'll go to the company." Father Yin hurried out the door. He is going to the company to take charge of the overall situation. At the same time, there has been an uproar online. Nanyang released some more evidence. At the same time, it also circled the Law Enforcement Department, the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of Public Security, the Procuratorate and other national systems. Father Yin was driving, and the phone kept ringing. He gritted his teeth and picked it up to answer it. When he heard the message from the Procuratorate on the phone, his face suddenly changed, his hands lost control, and the steering wheel was turned hard. The car, which was speeding, crashed into a big tree beside the road. The front of the car was dented, and Father Yin, who was sitting in the main driver's seat, felt his eyes go black and fainted. "Hello? Mr. Yin? Hello? Hashtag. Master, Miss Nan's move is so sharp. It hit the vital point of the Yin family directly. It's so fast and hateful." Wu Yu looked at the news about the Yin family on the internet and couldn't help but sigh. Then he sighed again. The computer boss is really cruel. You can offend anyone, but you can't offend the computer boss. Look, Miss Nan Yan didn't even show her face, and directly forced the Yin family into a desperate situation. Moreover, he also took a look and found that what Miss Nan Yan posted was all true. The young master asked him to investigate the Yin family, and he also found out these things. But what Miss Nan Yan found out was more detailed than what he found out. The little friend is very powerful. Qin Lu's eyes were filled with a hint of pride. There was just no room for him to play, which made him quite helpless. Wu Yu couldn't hear the resentment in his young master's words, and asked with interest, "Young master, do you think the Yin family will be finished this time? Do you think that if you offend my little friend, I will let the Yin family go?" "Wu Yu, I understand. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 159. The next day. The posts about the Yin family were still high on the hot search list. And many departments called for Yin's father to be investigated. The evidence released by Nan Yan was only part of it. Some evidence that was not suitable for public disclosure had been sent to relevant departments by her. She would naturally not give the Yin family a chance to turn over. One hammer, hammer to death. The principal and a group of school directors of Zhide High School had to make a new decision on Yin Yuchen's matter. At the rising meeting that day, the principal announced the punishment of Yin Yuchen very majestically and expelled him from school. The announcement had been posted on the campus forum. Afterwards, he also praised Nan Yan by name for being brave, resourceful, and courageous, and eliminating harm for the people. Dean of Studies. He finally understood what kind of grass is a fence-sitter. However, people have the instinct to seek benefits and avoid harm, and he can't blame the principal for anything. It can only be said that he is too pedantic and still insists in his heart. Nan Yan listened to the principal's nonsense expressionlessly. Finally, the principal asked her to say a few words. She took the microphone and said 2 sentences. I won't take the initiative to provoke others, and others had better not provoke me again. Next time, my temper will not be so good. Finally, I warn everyone, don't provoke me. Everyone. Everyone. Is my temper good this time? What will it be like if I have a bad temper? They said they didn't want to see it at all. Hashtag. The Yin family's affairs have further fermented. The matter has become bigger and bigger. Even the people behind the Yin family are rushing to distance themselves from the Yin family. It is obvious that someone wants to make the Yin family finished. This is coming with great momentum, and it seems that they have a deep hatred. They don't want to be cannon fodder for no reason. Father Yin was seriously injured in a car accident and is still in the emergency room. He is not out of danger. The old patriarch of the Yin family rushed to the hospital and saw Yin's mother. He went up and slapped her. Who did you offend? I don't know. Yin's mother was stunned. Don't know? Don't you know that they can punish the Yin family to death? They want to punish the Yin family without any mercy. Old Master Yin was furious and wanted to hit Yin's mother with his crutches. This time Yin's mother reacted, but she didn't dare to say anything more when she saw the angry look of Old Master Yin, so she could only bear it. She knelt on the ground in pain. Dad, I really don't know. I just drink tea and eat with some noble ladies on weekdays. How could I offend anyone? If you say offend. When Yin's mother said this, she was suddenly stunned, and a figure appeared in her mind. That day at the Yin family, the girl named Nan Yan had a sinister and cold expression. It couldn't be her. How could she, a little girl, have this ability? Old Master Yin was still waiting for her to continue, and when he saw her suddenly stunned, he asked angrily, who did you offend? It should be Yin's side. I offended someone. Old Master Yin felt that Yin's mother, a woman, couldn't offend any big shots, and she didn't have the courage. But Yin's father was still being rescued, so even if he wanted to ask clearly, he couldn't. Now the Yin family has begun to be thoroughly investigated. All the shameful things they have done over the years will probably be found out. Even if they know who they have offended, it will be too late to beg for mercy. It's over, the Yin family is over. Old Master Yin muttered and fell straight down. Dad, Dad, Yin's mother screamed in panic, and then shouted, help. Old Master Yin was pushed into the emergency room. Yin's mother's legs were weak and she couldn't stand up at all. She just squatted on the ground and looked at the red light in the emergency room with lifeless eyes. What happened? In one night, the Yin family, a big family, fell to such a point. Hashtag. And family. And Yeoking looked at the news on the internet, and his face kept changing. Finally, he shook his head and sighed, the Yin family is finished. I don't know who they offended, and they didn't even have a chance. Ens Hisai asked, Dad, who do you think has such ability in Jinching? And Yeoking thought for a while, the big families in Jinching are intertwined and involved. How can they be picked so cleanly? The person who broke the news this time obviously wants to make the Yin family die. Maybe it's a small family oppressed by the Yin family who wants to die together. Ens Hisai thinks that this is also possible. And Mulan suddenly said, could it be related to Yan Yan? What are you talking about? And Yeoking can't stand the name of Nyan now. Yesterday he went to the old house and complained to the old man, but was driven out by the old man with a broom, and told him not to go to the old house again. This biased person almost treats them as outsiders, and only Nyan is his relative. Besides, he doesn't believe that Nyan has such ability to make the Yin family like this. And Mulan looked serious. Yan Yan doesn't have this ability, but the man next to her is definitely not simple. I heard that the Yin family sent people to find trouble with Yan Yan yesterday, but they were beaten up by Yan Yan and the man. After that, the news about the Yin family began to hang on the hot search list. Dad, have you forgotten that Yan Yan is going to represent the school to participate in the computer competition? Her ability in computers is definitely not weak. Don't talk nonsense, this is impossible. Just to apologize, you made such a big deal? How can it be so exaggerated? As soon as he had this thought, the phone rang. And Yeoking subconsciously checked the caller ID. Nan Yan? Why would she call him? This evil girl, she didn't answer when he called her, and now she calls him, thinking he would answer? Although thinking so, he still answered the phone. Nan Yan's cold voice came through the receiver. Have you seen the end of the Yin family? I have a bad temper, it's best not to provoke me again, otherwise the Yin family will become a lesson for you. And Yeoking's pupils suddenly shrank. Did you really do what happened on Weibo? Beep beep. The answer to him was the system prompt tone that had been hung up. And Siding saw that his face was not very good, and asked in confusion, Dad, what did Nan Yan say? It was really her. And Yeoking felt a chill on his spine. A little girl actually has such ability. He couldn't help but be terrified. Isn't Nan Yan a girl from the countryside who knows nothing? And Siding still couldn't accept it. In the past 2 years, Nan Yan has been a humble and cowardly country girl in the Yin family. She is the worst in studies and has no knowledge of people. Could it be that she was pretending before? If that's the case, how deep must her schemes be? And Hisai should be calmer, we can't just listen to what she says. We should investigate whether she did it. And Mulan saw that the three of them were obviously more wary of Nan Yan and began to be hostile to her, and he couldn't help but sneer speechlessly. Qin Ye's little ancestor is a real boss. Author, Junanan. Chapter 160. And Jia really went too far. But, however, Nan Yan no longer needs their compensation. Except for her grandfather and the fourth child, the rest of the Yin family cannot come into her eyes. It's their fault. And Mulan turned around and went out. Even if Nan Yan refused to forgive him, this would not affect his reformation. Nan Yan's wave of operations, at least in a short period of time, prevented An's people from bothering her. After school, sitting in Qin Lu's car, Nan Yan asked faintly. Brother, did you help secretly? Nan Yan knew very well that although the evidence she submitted would cause a great blow to the Yin family, it would not destroy a family with a century-old heritage so quickly. She didn't believe Boss Qin if he said he didn't do anything. Qin Lu looked up at her and didn't say anything. He just stretched out his hand and rubbed the top of her head. Brother, if you have something to say, can you please stop rubbing my head? She was so rubbed that she lost her temper. As soon as Nan Yan Yuyuan finished speaking, Boss Qin pinched his wrist and placed it on his abdominal muscles. A low, magnetic voice sounded faintly, I'll touch it back for you. Nan Yan. In an instant, Nan Yan's face turned red. She wanted to pull her hand back, but Qin Lu held her hand down and couldn't move at all. This is going to drive her crazy. Wu Yu raised the baffle with a wink to avoid being irritated by the scenes inside the carriage. He even turned on the music to cover up any inappropriate sounds that might occur. After smoking twice but not taking his hand out, Nan Yan looked at Qin Lu expressionlessly, Brother, let me go. Qin Lu looked at the little guy who was about to become angry, with a wicked smile on his lips. Don't you want to touch your abs? In no mood. Qin Lu casually squeezed the girl's weak, boneless hand and raised his eyebrows, then, touch the breast muscles. These were obviously very provocative words, but when they came out of Qin Lu's mouth, they sounded so indifferent. Nan Yan's palms couldn't help but tremble. Boss Qin, your aloof persona has collapsed, do you know that? Nan Yan gritted his teeth and said with a bit of anger, if you don't touch it, I won't touch it anywhere. If you touch it, you must be responsible. No matter how much she thinks, she must endure it. Actually, my brother's chest muscles are also very touchable. Qin Lu. This was the first time Nan Yan called him by his first name and last name. She had been aroused to the point of explosion. Seeing that the flirting had gone too far, Qin Lu was afraid that the little girl would be really angry, so he quickly restrained himself and let go of the girl's hand. As soon as Nan Yan got free, he quickly moved to the side and almost pressed against the car door. Then he turned his head, as if not to talk to him. Qin Lu secretly thought that the little guy was too courageous. I don't know where she got the courage to tell him that she wanted to touch her abdominal muscles. Now, I guess she will be more honest in the future. Hashtag. Qin Lu had something to do today, so he left her at the door of the old house and left without eating. After entering the house, Nan Yan found that there were a few more people in the living room. The father and son of the Yin family were talking to Mr. N. Seeing Nan Yan's cold and distant expression, Mr. N couldn't help but sigh in his heart, and said directly to An Yeoking and the others, Yan Yan is back, it's time for you to leave. Now that I know I regret it, it is not that easy to get Yan Yan's forgiveness. It's just that Mr. N doesn't know that the N family members don't really reflect on themselves. I came to the old house to find him today just because I said that deliberately to dispel his dislike for them. Regarding Nan Yan, it remains to be verified. Now they can't see through Nan Yan, so they must find a way to find out her strength. Okay, Dad, let's go now and see you later when we have time. And Yeoking stood up with a very calm attitude, and then said to Nan Yan, Yan Yan, what happened in the past was my father's fault. My father also knows that you will not let go of your prejudices so quickly. In the future, my father will try his best to compensate you. This was also what he said to Mr. N before. Otherwise, Mr. N will blow him out with a broom again. No need. Nan Yan was not polite to An Yeoking just because Mr. N was here. I don't want to have anything to do with you. An Yeoking's fake smile froze, and he was already secretly angry. He even came to her to show his kindness, but she was still so ignorant. An's Hisai frowned and said in a somewhat displeased tone, Yan Yan, Dad is also kind-hearted. After all, you are the daughter of the Yin family. Let's all take a step back and get along well. Nan Yan's voice was cold. If you want to get closer to the Yin family, you can say it now, and I promise to satisfy you. An's Hisai. Sure enough, he still didn't like the sister. Cold-blooded, arrogant, and ignorant of etiquette. And Siding laughed, Yan Yan, don't be joking. How are the Yin family and the Yin family the same? The Yin family is your own family. Even if you don't look at our face, you should also look at Grandpa's face. Don't talk nonsense. If you make me unhappy again, you can try to see if I will attack you. Nan Yan's words were not meant to be a joke at all. I'm in charge of Grandpa anyway. Even if An's family is gone, he can still have good food and clothing. The three father and son. Seeing this, Mr. N quickly took Nan Yan's hand and said, Yan Yan, the kitchen made something delicious today. Let's go eat first. Nan Yan's cold eyebrows softened a bit, and she casually put her school bag on the sofa. She said, well, Grandpa, I'll help you over. After Mr. N and Nan Yan went to the restaurant, An Yeoking could not help but shouted angrily, what a bastard. And Siding advised, Dad, calm down. Nan Yan has no good feelings towards the Yin family now, and no mercy. Let's calm down for a while. That's the only way. Hashtag. Yan Yan, do you really not want to go back to the Yin family? In the restaurant, Mr. N couldn't help but ask the question in his heart. Nan Yan put down his chopsticks and looked at Mr. N. Grandpa, I only recognize you and the fourth brother in the Yin family. My words are not just talk. Grandpa, I'll tell you in advance. If the people of the Yin family come to trouble me again, I will not show mercy. I won't let the Yin family end like the Yin family, but I will take away their control and hand over the Yin family to the fourth brother to manage. She didn't regard the Yin family as her relatives. If she knew what was good for her, she would not disturb each other. She has given them too many chances. There is no reason to keep giving in. Only then did Grandpa Yin understand the real thoughts in his granddaughter's heart. He suppressed the bitterness and helplessness in his heart and smiled kindly. Okay, Grandpa understands, and I won't talk about this again in the future. Yan Yan, don't feel pressured. It's their fault as parents and brothers. You are a good child. Grandpa will convey your meaning to them again seriously, and ask them to stay away from you in the future and not bother you again. Thank you, Grandpa.